Bring in our political panel, Democratic strategist and former senior spokesman for Hillary Clinton's campaign, Mo Lethe, CNN chief congressional correspondent Dana Bash, and Republican strategist and president of New Frontier Strategy, Phil Musser. Where are the Republicans? I spoke to Senator, Jim Inhofe a little while ago, and I've heard from a number of them, people who very much were in support of an invasion of a country for the alleged possession of chemical weapons, and now seem to oppose a limited action against a country that seems to have actually used chemical weapons.
I think there's a little bit of wanting to understand the strategic endgame here, and I think what we saw from the administration today was, and I give credit to Secretary Kerry, I thought he did a nice job in laying out the humanitarian nature of the case, but I think you're wanting to see more clarity, more engagement, more briefing. A lot of this happens behind closed doors. It's tough to gauge. So Republicans and Democrats really are on a lot of different places on this issue. This truly isn't a clear-cut partisan issue one way or the other, which makes it even more complicated. I mean, President Obama's in a tough spot. He's at 44% approval. That's his low water mark. The public in the country doesn't approve of the way he handles foreign affairs. And right now they're looking at this and trying to figure out what's really going on. And I don't think the level of education has been there yet. The administration is clearly trying to take the first step in that communications challenge to explain the critical necessity of this. Whether that works in the vacuum of social media and the world we exist today is to be determined.
Dana, bring us back to earth here from the Twilight Zone. There are a lot of members of Congress who have said that the president needs to bring this to Congress to get some kind of vote of support. So I guess I have two questions for you. One, if they actually held a vote in the next few days, what do you think would happen? And number two, deep down inside, do you really think these members of Congress actually want to be on the record with a vote?
To answer your second question first, no. I don't think that they do. Many of them do want to be. Some really do. Some genuinely have said in letters, have said in statements that they fundamentally believe that the constitutional responsibility of Congress is to authorize any kind of military force, no matter how small or how big. So you definitely have that wing. And they're Democrats and Republicans, as you were saying. It doesn't fall on party lines. But to answer your first question about whether or not it would pass, it's hard to, I think the true answer in talking to a lot of sources on Capitol Hill in both parties is that it's sort of an unanswerable right now because we don't know what the it is yet. But what we do know is that neither the White House nor even the House Speaker, his loyal opposition leader, to use UK parlance, doesn't want to have a disaster on his hands, which is an embarrassing vote in the United States Congress that would hurt the U.S. credibility.
Mo, one historical figure who probably would have supported a vote in Congress for some kind of military action would have been former law professor, then state senator, then presidential candidate Barack Obama. Now doesn't seem to be as important to him to get that congressional approval.
Well, I think he's certainly working closely, consulting with Congress. You saw him today stress that. You saw Secretary Kerry stress that. They've been a lot of readouts from both sides, right? Members on both sides talking about how they've just communicated with the president. So I think he is very sensitive to making sure that Congress is in the loop as he weighs what his decision is going to be made, what decision he's going to make. But remember, he still hasn't made the decision.
Phil, quickly, campaign issue down the line, Syria. You think we'll ever hear about it again in the campaigns?
Yeah, honestly, impossible to predict, potentially. I mean, it's really a lose-lose politically for the president. As this vacuum continues where there's no decision, that will define this presidency quickly. If approval continues to tube, it will become a political issue.
And remember, the minute these guys, members of Congress, get back to town in a week and a half, everything will be probably, this will seem like ancient history.
The fun of the debt ceiling then comes there. Dana Bash, Mo Lethe, Phil Musser, thank you so much for being